I'll tell you how to introduce an outcome measure. In this case, HONOS. The CEO tells the service managers tell the team leaders, we will be using this measure. You provide them with training. All consumers get a HONOS. There's a whole bunch of reasons why clinicians ought to share the HONOS score with each client. There was a few holdouts. So with those holdouts, I said to them, I've asked you to start handing out this measure to people and explaining what it's about. I want you to do it. And I'm issuing a lawful and reasonable instruction. And if you don't do it, disciplinary action will follow. They cannot refuse to do it. Not without behaving unethically and arguably illegally. Now, why isn't that happening in DHP services? I sent out an email, just a sort of informal survey. 30 people were interviewed, 4 knew of the HONOS, none had ever had any discussion with a clinician about the HONOS. Are mad people just too bloody pathetic to be told the truth? And are not mad people so responsible and objective and strong in character to be able to take it on the chin? Well, of course not. In a way, we're not talking about the HONOS. We're talking about a summary of the assessment. And we're not talking about just the assessment. We're talking about the sharing of pertinent information. Surely anything that generates conversation, open conversation, even debate between the clinician and the client is a good thing. So, another selling point for the HONOS. Yeah, it's great as a statistical tool to collect at a national level to inform mental health policy. Yeah, it's great to collect at a service level to compare services, similar services, using case mix formula to find out how well one service is doing against another. But it is also useful immediately at the coalface. Thank you.
That is one of the take-home messages here about really what we're up against, because what the service users were interested in and what the ordinary, regular clinicians were willing to endorse and support were at variance.
Just because you give people a shared record does not mean they will participate, or does not mean they will look at it. But some people will, and some people will benefit from it. You actually have a family navigator, somebody who keeps an eye on your record for you.
I was wanting us to be able to get a way that we can sort of capture and measure and use, identify distance, journey travel, that we actually see things are making a difference for people. And fully well knowing that, we're not just talking about, we're talking about every aspect of a person's life. We want to be able to we want to process, and we want to be able to focus on demonstrating the uniqueness and the difference made for people on their recovery journeys.
We've been talking a lot about why we have to do feedback, and I want to talk about that because we know that it's best practice. It's professional to give feedback. So we're suggesting all through this conference that actually if you can get this engagement-minded information, it informs your practice, it strengthens your practice, and it actually gives service users better recovery.
That's just to remind us that we penguins spend a lot of time wandering around, poring over computers, going to conferences, talking about systems, but quite a lot of time we forget to give all the information that we gain to the person at the centre of it all and ask them what they think. It's CUNIQ's goal that our recent information management developments will ensure that service users take ever more of a leading role in their individual service planning. I think that one of the most important goals in changing New Zealand services is to restore to the consumer the belief that he or she can and should be in charge of his or her own recovery. In the real sense of recovery, I understand enlightenment to mean that I have the knowledge and the ability to improve my own state of health and my independence, and I know where to find the help I need to support me in that recovery process, which is kind of what Sue and her colleagues were talking about before.
Consumers kind of get the message that the outcome measures aren't important because they're never discussed. It's like I give you some information as a consumer, or you collect information about me, but it's never discussed with me. So it's not real.